Hey guys, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. I left my drink. Let me go get it. It's right here in the front of the room because I get such a dry throat when I'm talking to you guys. I do appreciate you being here. And it's just lemonade. No wine today. Not that I don't want any wine, but just haven't had a chance to sit down and pour myself a glass of cab or anything. I don't know if I want any. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I just ate some fried chicken though. It's another drug unto itself, is it not? Food, I can often turn to food. I had a little bit of fried chicken, not too much. I'm trying not to eat too much. Hi, Miss Cindy. How are you? Really appreciate you being here. I think everything's plugged in. Yeah, the mic is plugged in. I think I had it plugged in kind of weird earlier, so you could still hear a lot of kickback on it. But how's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay, hanging in there like the rest of us. I wanted to talk today a little bit about how you're coping, because that's just the subject that's out there, guys. It's not so much that, sure, we want to escape, and I bring videos for us to escape with jewelry and all of that, but there's still lots of things on our minds, and I think that's one of them. I've been watching some interesting videos that people are posting. A lot of them are positive, and that's wonderful. But a lot of them are really focusing on their perspective. So I want to get an eye out, and I want to put in, actually, just pick your brain, I guess, is a term I should use, about what you're experiencing. Are you, first of all, in another country? And because I know the UK is on lockdown. So how many of you are from a country where they are on lockdown, or even in California? And one of the videos I watched, she was in California, and she was getting very upset about it, and felt, like she was trapped. And I hated hearing that kind of thing, because I really like her. And I just hate to see people really, hurting that way. And I don't want to get political, so please don't come in and tell me that you hate this, you hate your governor, you hate your this and that, because again, we will be split right down the middle. And I think we should all just think about what we do share in common, and not so much our differences. Because I don't know, I feel like even if you're not on complete shutdown, it really feels like you are. Because even like here in Houston, we're not in a full lockdown mode, but we don't have school going on. The districts are closed. Many restaurants are open, but many of them have had to shut down because nobody's visiting them. So I don't know. It's a weird perspective by everyone's point of view. I know many people, I think even maybe people who've retired already, they've had to face being productive and not feeling unproductive, and not feeling bored. And I think that's the way a lot of us are feeling right now too, that we're used to our routine and all of that. So that can really hinder not just your income, but your self-esteem. If any of you have ever been fired, and I've been fired, it's not a good feeling. It's a horrible feeling. And, I was young, and it was the worst thing that could ever happen to me, to be told that, hey, we didn't like the way you did this. Maybe you should look for another line of work. It's a really awful feeling. But I think a lot of us come up through that kind of experience better people. I know I did. And I learned a lot about what I should and shouldn't do in order to keep a job. This is a whole different thing, I know, but I'm just telling you what's running through my head. You guys can tell me what's running through your head as well. Hi, Harley Grant. How are you? Sandra, Alice, Leslie, Brett Cat, Mary Swanson, and Denise, and Cindy. How are you, Miss Cindy? Thank you again for the wonderful gifts. I really do appreciate it. Worried sick for your kids in Ohio. I know. And are they in lockdown in Ohio? I know they're, well, the districts are closed just about everywhere, aren't they? Isn't every school district in the nation closed down? And I don't know how old your kids are. They may be, young parents and all of that. But I think that's the case all over the nation. So I mixed pink lemonade with LaCroix, and it's very good. It's just a LaCroix sparkling water with lemonade. And I don't know, I like a little bit of fizz in my drinks sometimes. Hi, Linda. Yes, it is. It is. And it's very sad. There's no sugarcoating that. It's very, very serious and very sad. But many people are feeling that their rights are being encroached. And in a way, I think, I don't blame them for feeling that way. If you're in a mandatory lockdown, I don't blame them for feeling that way. I also think it's a really eye opener for a lot of people who don't appreciate the freedoms that we do have here. And I think I compared it last time because I had a friend who she worked as an engineer, high earner, but she did it in Venezuela. And she was taken aback by the situations there years ago. This was 10 years ago. And the fact that she could not find bread when she needed it. She'd find milk one day, the next day she wouldn't find it. Cereal, she had two choices. Once in a while, she'd find some red meat. And this was a woman who could buy what she wanted to buy. She had the means to buy it. She made, more than 6 figures rather. But it wasn't available. So, I mean, a lot of times I think it really changes our perspective on how lucky we actually are to enjoy the freedoms that we do enjoy here. And hopefully we will get back to normal really, really soon as far as coping. And I think I was asking you guys how many of y'all are in another country where you're in a complete lockdown. And what exactly does that entail? Like in California, what exactly does it entail? Does it mean you can't leave the house at all? And again, it is very arbitrary. That's why people are saying, well, what exactly, why is it so it's kind of muddled, like what's essential, what's essential to you may not be essential to me, or yeah. And people are finding that, hey, their drive-throughs can be essential. I don't know. And then somebody may laugh about that, but who are you to laugh at that? It's an important part of someone's life. It's a comfort that we have come to grown accustomed to. Definitely. Governor Kate Brown today, the Oregonians must stay home facing the possibility of jail time. Wow. And I had been reading about that coming to pass. They had been talking about that, but it is, that's where Miss Makeup Zombie's from. Transplant patients in my house, but bills do not pay themselves. Absolutely. They do not pay themselves. And oh my goodness. It's something that a lot of people face too when we have these layoffs as well. My neighbor one of my neighbors, he was in an interesting situation because he was actually facing a layoff next month. He had already been told, and he's a very well-educated man with choices in his life. The more education you have, you usually have more choices. But he was still faced with that layoff, and now, well, it came a little bit sooner. And I don't know if there's going to be an additional cushion for him now that this came through, because I think he's hoping he gets his severance package and all of that, but who knows? But that's one thing he was looking at. He was like, the irony, is I was actually going to be laid off next month. And so this time they're letting him come into the office, but basically just to clean up and, do virtual meetings or whatnot. But it was just a little bit sooner, I guess. But you're right, the bills do not pay themselves. UK's being policed because idiots were acting like it was vacation time. Yeah, absolutely. I was so afraid of that too, with the looting and the rioting that occurs sometimes, like, what happens after a highly political trial and all of that. And people it's chaotic. It's really sad that we need to face that kind of situation. Oh my goodness, I hate even thinking about that. I wish you the best. Acting like it was vacation time. Yeah. Then there's only so much anger can do for you. It doesn't really help to be angry. And, in some ways, I think it really is a hindrance for us when we That's all we want to think about is what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. But we sometimes have to look at what's good. Hey, Vanessa, some of the heroes are the small businesses that continued paying. I know. I was telling someone the other day that one of the thrift stores that I went to, it was not a big one. It was the local one, had a sign out, and they were actually passing out the flyer and saying that they were going to actually continue to pay their employees throughout this crisis. They'd be working in the warehouse and cleaning and sorting and doing a lot of inventory that they probably never get around to doing. I actually showed you guys a little bit of footage of that particular store in the back, and you could see how they had mountains of things to do. So that's one thing they were doing, is try to ensure that they had that job. Hey, Lucia, how are you? I think I saw Lucia in here, and Doug. So that's a good thing when that can happen. And the same thing with my school district. They don't pay the non-salaried employees usually, but for this crisis, they have decided to just everyone is gonna get their paycheck covered, and I'm just so grateful for that. But yeah, that is a serious. That's what I was, because they had been talking about that in the news that China was having when it first started. And it was getting so horrible that they were literally arresting people who were breaking curfew. So, yeah, I mean, if you can't follow the rules, I guess that's what you have to do. You work in law enforcement, so I have to be out in this no matter what. Oh my goodness, absolutely. Well, I thank you for your service, Miss Alice. I have always had the highest reverence for law enforcement. Absolutely. And Lisa says that her job has promised to pay the end of the month, but I'm not counting on it. Yeah. It makes us, I know I'm a reseller. I don't know how many of you guys that watch my jewelry videos are resellers, but boy, I'm putting, as they say in Spanish, putting the batteries in right now on this business. And there's a saying in Spanish that says ponen las pilas or something like that. So basically it means like get in gear and do the best that you can with what you have. Put those batteries in, get a recharge on that listing, because that income's going to come in handy. And I'm telling you, yeah, people are a little apprehensive about buying some things, but not everything. I think buying not only the essentials, but a little bit of something glamorous or something fun it's going to happen. And if they have a little bit of tiny disposable income, you can see a little surge in your sales. So don't stop listing. Don't think just because you may not buy that handbag, somebody else does not want to buy it. Years ago, I did a report when I was in college, I did a report on Latin America and a certain country in Latin America. And I believe it was also Venezuela. I believe it was also Venezuela, because they have the highest, hey, Miss Carmen, they have the highest number of Miss Universe winners than any other country. And in that report that I read, that I researched, it said that, of course, not only do they have the most plastic surgeons or whatever than any other Latin American country, but that they also have found that even the poorest of the poor will spend money on jewelry and shoes and handbags. And it's just a psychological thing, guys. There is just something really, really special about treating yourself to something like that. And it's not just here in the US, or maybe it's not here in the US, but I found that to be a really interesting statistic. And I know that they've also said in recessions, people still, want to get their nails done, want to get their hair done. We can't do it now. We can't go out that we were used to, but we can look forward to that. And I'd still, like I said, don't stop listing those things, guys. I think I just sold a necklace for $200. I think I just got a notice, because I don't think I have another invoice going out, but I just got a notice, and I was just like, wow, that's really cool. That's really cool that there's something, even though I'm getting a salary and everything, but you never know, something could happen. Maybe the whole school will shut down. Then just say, hey, we're just going to retire all you teachers now. It's not like the first time they don't try to do that, right? Things like that can happen. You just never know. But it's good to have a little bit of a fallback on that. And I was also thinking about, let me read a couple more comments and I'll tell you what else I was thinking about. Things that we learn. Remind me if I forget, because I forget everything. Things that we've learned from our parents in the past and when they've had to face hard times. From Mission, Texas, how are you? Luz, ¿cómo estás? I love that name, Luz. I used to know a beautiful girl named Luz in high school. Brat cat worried sick for your kiddos. Yeah, I read that part. I'm so sorry. We're kind of locked down in Egypt. Kind of locked down. What does that look like in Egypt? Kind of locked down. I know we're not locked down here. We're not. And our mayor came on the tube the other day to remind us that we're not in lockdown. I guess, to go out and spend some money so these businesses don't go down faster than they're doing. They sent You're frustrated. Alice says just last month and they flew the home last week. Now they're back to work without quarantine. Yeah, and I think we really just have to, and then so many people don't understand the virus and how it works, and I don't understand it either. I'm just trying to listen to the doctors and the scientists, but they just don't understand that they can be symptom-free and still be infected and infect others who will get very sick. Vanessa says, I'm very sad, but I'm strong. It helps that everyone is in the same place. I'm in two different places emotionally. Oh my goodness, I know. I can't even imagine, Vanessa. Being widowed just recently, and then this other thing, this tsunami coming at you as well. You trace the elements in Oregon, sandwiched between California and Washington. We don't have nearly the problems of our neighboring states. Still, it's pretty desperate. Yeah. And you kept yourself busy, Miss Cindy, with making hand sanitizer. Good, good, good. Oh, I got to get up early tomorrow, guys. I won't be up late tonight. I got a meeting in the morning, but it's only for a couple of hours, and I hope it's quick. And just to get a briefing on what we're going to do for our children in school. Let me go back down a little bit. You got attacked at the dollar store for not wearing gloves? Are you working there? Are you working there, or did you go by? My husband was telling me that our local grocery store, which is the biggest chain in Texas, I believe the H-E-B, now has like a shield in front of the cashiers, kind of like a sneeze shield. Yeah, he said they added one right there. So, I'm glad. I'm glad for them. But I haven't been to the grocery store. He's the one that's been going, or my neighbor has asked if we need anything. They go every other day or so, and we're pretty good here. We don't really have a freezer full of meat or anything like that. Maybe we should, but I was telling my daughter I was thinking of becoming a vegetarian anyway. Meat's not that good for you as you get older anyway. Did I close my Etsy shop? No, I haven't closed anything yet, Doug. Etsy's kind of laissez-faire for me. I list things up there. When I get something vintage that I absolutely want to put up there, I put it there. But I haven't been babying it as much. I did put some things up on eBay at a buy it now, and kind of high prices on some things. And then that way I gauge how much interest is on it. And then if I do get a lot of watchers, but nobody actually bought it, then I will put it, how did I do it? I did it on auction this time. Yeah. So if nobody bid on it, then I'll put it at a buy it now at a little bit lower price, but I think it's sold. So I'm really excited about that stuff. I'm starting to put a few more jewelry pieces in there, but since the auctions have been pretty successful for me, and I'm very grateful for that, I've just been putting a few things here and there. Even if I take a loss in the auctions, really, I think it's a fun thing to do. I think it's kind of like building your channel here. It takes a little while. You keep putting the videos out, no matter how many views you have, but eventually people find you, and eventually it grows. And that's the same thing with the auction. When I first started, I had 10 people, now I'm happy if I get 25 people in there. And some people just come and watch and all of that. And some people will find something reasonable. And I don't start everything really high in there either, because I want, someone to be able to buy something for $5. And if they find something for $50, that's good too. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Oh my gosh, that's incredible, Cinnamon. That's horrible. People are just going so in a crisis. Some people, it gets the worst. It brings out the worst in some people. People need to stay home. It's the only way. We can only go out if you really must. Exactly. I don't even know why we're going in tomorrow. I really don't want to. And then we had the virtual meeting today, and I said, I'm going to go pick up my laptop today because I had made an appointment. You actually have to make an appointment to go in. And then she said, we have to make an appointment. I said, well, I did, but then I realized we're going to have a meeting early in the morning anyway, so I don't want to go over there twice. And they're shutting the school building down completely on Wednesday, and we're going to fog the whole area, and it'll be closed till April 10th or further notice. So, and like, it's going to be, I think, 5 of us in our special education department. We'll be very far from each other. We'll be wearing masks and gloves, hopefully. And then it's done. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate it. I actually had this shirt in green too, but I think I stained it, so I gave it away. I had a little teeny tiny stain. I couldn't live with it. Guillermo, how are you doing in San Francisco? What does that entail for you in San Francisco? Because that was the first city I heard about going to lockdown, where they use that term lockdown. What exactly does that mean? So you're not going to work? You can only get your groceries. Is that how that is working? Oh, my shoulder hurts and I can't go to the doctor. I don't know why. No, it's this shoulder. Is this the one I got operated on? I don't even remember. I think it is. Already had that rotator cuff surgery a couple of years ago, and it's starting to hurt me again. Oh. Was Makeup Zombie and Memo are catching up on their telenovelas. They're watching a lot of that. Exactly. Follow the rules. There's just so many rule breakers. I heard that the spring breakers over in your neck of the woods, Miss Vanessa, there was a couple of cases coming out of that. Have you heard about that? A job allows you to stay home, Brat Cat. Luckily, my son, his wife, and all of us, we're all working from home now. My other daughter's a teacher too, and her curriculum is all online now. I think they told us not to even do lessons. We're just going to communicate with parents, get them to a website where we can track the data on what they're learning and growth charts and all of that. And that's what we're going to work on. We're not going to be concerned with state testing and all of that. That was the one good thing I talked about last week that I think came out of that. Thank you, Goodwill Bunny. How are you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you're doing well. You went out today to Costco. It was a huge line to get in. Oh, my goodness. Well, my husband says there was no tissue paper at our local grocery store. There had been some, but they also told him that the trucks get there early in the morning and people are already waiting in line. So, I mean, we don't really need it, but I think he was going to grab some just in case. I think he was going to grab a bag or two. People, because I think he calculated we have enough for about a month. We'll see what happens after that. People don't think that if they infect people and they will die if they become assisted murder. Oh my gosh. I know. People are very selfish that way in so many ways. I mean, and I think the young especially have that mentality of, it won't happen to me, therefore why would I care? Not all. I don't want to blanket, stereotype a whole generation, but many of them do. But like they were saying, I don't know if you watched some of the press conferences from a week or so ago, one of the doctors, the woman was saying that the community, the remedy is going to come from the community the way it did for AIDS, because they were saying that when AIDS broke out, it's like no one talked about it. It was hidden. There was a lot of secrecy going around until the research was there and the community themselves started seeing what they needed to do and how to nip it at the bud, so to speak, and what they needed to do to protect themselves. And I really like that she likened this crisis to that crisis, because I think it made people think that, yes, it's in your hands. It really is in your hands, like the AIDS epidemic was for that particular affected community at that time. Yes, indeed. Yeah, if you smoke, you're at risk. That's one of the reasons so many succumbed in China. That study's coming out as well. And they have a very aged population in China as well. But they are very, very heavy smokers for many years, many generational smokers. And, it's a big epidemic in, it's a big problem in China. Everyone smokes and they continue to smoke all their lives. Oh my goodness, Cinnamon. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And it's so hard not to engage. I know for me it is anyway. And I try not to. I need to, you just have to walk away because those people are crazed right now. And you just never know how it can escalate to something worse. So it's best to just, dust your boots off and move on. NIMBY, not in my backyard. Exactly. Exactly. But it is, doesn't matter if your yard is big or if you've got a few acres. A few acres or very little. It's still gonna affect you one way or another. And yeah, you just have to do your part. But people are getting very resentful of that total total lockdown, as they say. And if they are going to start giving out fines instead of arresting us like they did in China. They were literally arresting these people in China who were breaking curfew and quarantine rather. And do you have a curfew at all? Does anybody have a curfew? I think Donatella was telling us last week they have a curfew in her area of, I think she's in Florida as well. Her area of Florida. Oh, I haven't been in a dollar store either. I did like getting some of the things for packaging though. I found some really nice boxes there for the jewelry. The jewelry, especially like the bigger ones, because they're all $1 and they wind up costing me about that much when I get them on Amazon. So when I sell like the big statement necklaces, I really like boxes instead of, other things to wrap them up. Oh, okay. Have a good night, American in England. Have a good night. Stay safe and healthy. I know we'll see each other in better times very soon. Curfew, 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Okay, so, and you're getting a fine if they find you out of curfew. Second-degree misdemeanor in Ohio. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's major. That is really, really major. No, we're not having anything like that. Thank you for being here, guys. I hope you hit the thumbs up when you walked in or before you leave. It's kind of hard not to talk about the subject that's in our face every day. So, I feel like this is just a free zone. Talk about what you want to talk about, except politics and religion. But we just can't help but do that. But I was going to say that there's also some really really interesting things that we need to remember and think about. And I know my parents were small during the Great Depression. They were young, but my mother would often talk to me about it and the things that she would, consider a gift, like at Christmas. She said they would get fruit and they would get, maybe a pair of shoes or something. It wasn't anything major. It was just something nice and a treat. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're all going to go back to those times. I think it's going to all get better a lot sooner than we think it is. But it's also really important to think about really, what is the important part? I think sustenance, the health. If we can have our health, we have everything. Honestly, I know we need to pay the bills, but I also am grateful that there's going to be some relief coming and that there are some employers that are understanding this and so forth. So yeah, and be sure and contact. Don't assume that you will not qualify. Many people think, oh, I have a full-time job or my husband makes this much and that. You don't know what you qualify till you apply for it. You do not know. There are many, many things. Like our school is actually providing groceries for the kids. Not only the meals, we're doing the meals, the breakfast, and because they used to do that anyway for summer time. And then now they're not getting their lunch and breakfast because they eat breakfast, lunch, almost dinner, everything at school. But now they're actually bringing groceries to the families as well. Week's worth of groceries every week. It may not be T-bone steak, but it's going to sustain them. So there is lots of things out there, and you just have to find it. Your local churches as well have food banks. I don't know, how big your city is, but the food banks, the churches, they're there. And don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. Don't let pride get in your way. When you need something, go get it. Absolutely. Pride is not going to serve beans and, rice. It's not. You need to do that. You do it. But that, and then things like I was talking about washing dishes by hand because I haven't even gotten my soap. And not only that, it's like my dishwasher. Why am I wasting all that energy on my dishwasher? Really, I have to wash a few things, or I pile them and pile them and pile them for them to get full in 5 days. By then, they don't even, they're starting to stink up the dishwasher. So I just bought myself a little rack to pile up my dishes, wash my dishes as I go, saving my dishes too, because a lot of them have really pretty edgings and golden gilded edges and whatnot, and they come out so much prettier and cleaner by hand anyway. So I'm taking advantage of that, taking advantage of the strolls at night as well. Now that it cleared up today, it didn't rain. I'm going to go walk. I have a very interesting neighborhood. We only have they call them, I guess, like candle lights, like the little, what are they called? I guess candle lights, right? Except they're not candle, they're gas lights. We do not have any of the overhead type of lights, the street lights or anything like that. So it's very quaint and very nice. And I'm taking advantage of that again. Don't have my treadmill to go to, so that's what I'm going to do. More water? Yeah, it probably does. I've heard that before as well, Vanessa. A lot of people will put a little tub, though. You can put the little tub, you can wash them, and then you can rinse them in the other. But I don't know. But you also have to heat up the water in the dishwasher, and then it air dries it. And I'll still use the dishwasher whenever I get my soap. And when I do more than, 2 people eating and, dirtying 2 dishes in one. If you list on eBay, get on the website and activate your $50 free listings for March. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm doing that now because I no longer have a store. I had shut down my store and just went back to regular listing on that. So thank you for reminding us that about that, Miss Val, Texas Val. So, but it's also very therapeutic. I mean, my nails look like crap. They don't look very good after washing dishes, but it's kind of therapeutic to sit there and scrub the dishes and dry them and put them away, and and the time that it takes to do something that's thoughtful like that, and you put them away instead of going back to the TV or going back to a video or whatnot, or just sitting there and watching the news and getting depressed. It's better to be doing something in your kitchen. People can take exercise, walking, jogging, stay feet apart. Yeah, well, that's a good idea. Hola, ¿cómo estás, Mariluz? We're all probably looking like crap. I know. That's what some comedians were joking about. No nails, people who do their nails or have to do their hair every 6 weeks, or even the eyelashes now and the eyebrows. Some guy was saying, now you're going to really know what your girlfriend looks like. But it's okay. Now you can find out if your boyfriend really loves you for who you are as well. Took your 4-year-old granddaughter and little dog for a walk today, and people were crossing the street to avoid each other. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I had to do that too the other day at the thrift store, though. Oh, my shoulder's hurting me. What is wrong with me? I think it's because I'm leaning this way. I don't know. I think it's just lack of movement. I'm so used to moving up and down the stairs at school. I never sit down, hardly. Even when I do my paperwork, I do it at a stand-up desk. I'm just not used to sitting around. And it's not good. I was telling my son, my husband, I need to find those old Jane Fonda videos. I bet they're on YouTube. I used to love those. I'll probably fall and break my nose because I used to jump around with Jane Fonda all the time. I used to love to do her videos back in the late 80s and stuff. I did all kinds of things though. I would do that. I love the videos. I joined, of course. I never joined jazzercise, but I joined ballet. I joined gyms and did, aerobics. That's what was the big deal back then. The aerobics. Never did the weights until it started to become a really popular thing. But I would do all of that to stay in shape, and I need to do that again because it does clear your mind. But I'm going to do the walks for sure. I'm going to go put on my shoes and go for a walk. Your buddy stocks shelves at Winco at night. They have TP and it'll show up at 6:30 a.m. And the first 20 people, well, they're also rationing it now too. I don't know about the toilet paper. I think it just came out on the news today here in Houston that our biggest chain, HEB, is rationing products. So I think they're going to ration the toilet paper. It's getting ridiculous. I don't know if people are selling it on offer up or what, but it's crazy that after all these weeks, they're still running out. Somebody said that the rumor started that toilet paper was made in China, and they thought the import was going to stop. So I think that's what started the panic buying. I don't know. You did aerobics and weight training in college. It is. It's great stress relief, especially to music that you love. It's really, really good. I just don't think I have the room anymore in my living room. I have a huge sofa in there, and it's kind of positioned weird. So I'd have to move things around. But I do need to do that. I would love to do that. I don't know why they don't open a gym that will do that. I don't know. And then our gym that we do have, like Zumba and all of that, I have not joined their classes because they're too crowded, especially now that we can't be together. It's like an arm's length away, right? And it's just way too close. I think we should be 2 arm's length away. So I never really took advantage of those classes. I just did their treadmill. Huge paper mills all over East Texas has a few. So they are rationing the toilet paper. I hope we can get some if we need it. And hopefully this will be over in a few more days. April 10th is when they're thinking they might open the school, but many of them, I think 2 states have already said they're not going to open the schools until next year. My gym is not open. My gym is not open at all. Up here, the little girl is selling a roll of toilet paper for $5. What little girl? Oh my goodness. Everything here is closed. Yeah, the gyms are definitely closed. My gym closed that week, last week that I said I was going to not go. And that was by choice. By the next day, it was closed. It had been open. It's like everything closed on that Thursday because I went to the thrift store, 2 thrift stores. I went to the gym that Wednesday. By Thursday, it was, I guess, closed. And then I passed by and there were no cars outside. Yeah, and the gyms are they're pretty iffy anyway. You should always wipe those things down anyway. Many people bring their own towels and everything to wipe down those machines. It's a good idea. But now even more so. But they did close them down for sure. Hop in the shower. Exactly. That's what my husband said. It's like, just do it the way they did it in the Army. Shower. Yeah, most definitely. But it's a good thing they're starting to ration the things as well. And like I said, try to think about the things that are really essential and the way other generations before us got through with essentials like food. And we'll have Starbucks back soon, and we'll have, even though I think Starbucks is open, I'm not even thinking about that kind of stuff. It's so crazy, but I'm not. And many people, they're missing all of those little luxuries. And I just want to be able to go to my gym and have my classroom back and, things like that. I'm not really concerned with things, but I am concerned because of the economy. I do want to make sure that if they are open, if I can order to go or whatnot. I do want to definitely support those small businesses. And I've always been that way here in my neighborhood, especially because I am in the suburbs. And I will always patronize a mom and pop pizza shop before I do a chain. I just think it's the right thing to do. Plus, it doesn't even, phase me, but a lot of times I'll go in and I'll realize one of my neighbors is actually the owner of the ice cream parlor or the little pizza shop until I see them there behind the counter. And but yeah, you need to, when you can, when things are back to normal, go back and support those small businesses because there is such a real short profit margin there. And if you do sell, if you are reselling, get back into it. Don't let your mindset stop you. Don't think, oh, no one's going to buy. Let your mindset think, no, someone's going to buy. What am I going to do to entice them to buy? What am I going to do to maybe lower a price, bundle up things on Posh, something, because there are people who are still going to buy. They still have, whether it's a $10 extra in their pocket, like I mentioned about Venezuela and other places, and here in the United States, where even in the direst situation, is in the most dire situations, people will find ways to buy a $10 bracelet or to buy some $10 shoes that are going to make them feel fabulous, even though they had to not eat lunch that day. I'm not being facetious. I'm just telling you the truth of what I have studied and researched about buying and the psychology of buying and what I've experienced myself, you know, in my own way. I it's not called retail therapy for nothing. It really isn't. But I think we can all help ourselves that way if we just keep thinking about doing something productive instead of sinking into the sofa watching those horrible sensational fake news, that you have to go to 5 or 6 different stations before you can piece it all together like a piecemeal algebraic equation or something and get the right answer, because everyone has their agenda and everyone wants to self-grandize themselves when all we need is the facts. You know what I'm saying? I cried this morning for everyone and said a prayer. In, yeah, I know, Shirley. I've cried too. And I wake up depressed, and then I get myself out of it, and then I try to stay out of it. But there's not much we can do. What can you do except follow the guidelines, keep being positive, keep watching things that make you happy and make you smile and make you laugh and that inspire you, and stay on that course, because it's so easy to go left. It's so easy to go left and blame everyone, and or go into the opposite direction and call everyone a liar and think everyone's just out to get you. You know, so prayer is definitely something that helps, whatever helps. Oh my goodness, yes, 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 absolutely. You have to think of, this is not the first time we have been through this. This is not the first time or the last. And whether it's not a big pandemic like it is, but let's say you just lost someone like Vanessa has, or someone is very ill, or something else is happening. It's not going to be the first or the last time that you're going to lose someone you love. It's not going to be the first or the last time you're going to lose your job. Um, for many of us, it's not. It's not going to be the first time. So there always has to be a way for us to handle it that is not going to actually make it worse, like drinking, like arguing, like having a fit at the dollar store. That's a negative way of handling things. And it's very easy for us to go negative with each other, with our spouses, with our parents, with our kids, instead of thinking again, life is about hassles. It's about tragedy, but it's also wonderful. And there is going to be another wonderful day for all of us. There really is. Hey, Jill, how are you? I hope you're doing well. What did Doug say? Thank you, Doug. But we have to watch yours too. Doug has a great channel, guys, and wonderful jewelry to look at. I fell in love with a few things, and I still haven't checked out your Etsy shop. I just, there's so many things I want to do in a day, and I can't do it all. But yeah, lots of good content out here, guys, uh, to watch. Also, Princess Casserole is there. Many people put out great content. If you do have a channel, let us know. Just put channel in the chat so we can click over there by the 3 buttons and go subscribe and keep our feeds nice and fresh so we can watch different things, interact with those who go live as well. That's always fun. But know that we're all, feeling the same thing. Don't think you're the only one that has cried. You're the only one that's depressed. You're the only one that's feeling horrible about your child not having a graduation ceremony. My neighbor as well, and they are homeschooled, but they have a graduation ceremony for 50 plus parents and students at one of their churches. Canceled. Trips to Europe canceled. People that were studying abroad in their last year at college canceled. Marriages, funerals. They can't even have a full-fledged funeral for their loved ones. It's incredible. So, just keep praying for that things get better, and they will get better. They have to. They absolutely have to. And go for those walks. Break a sweat. Break a sweat, even if it's just washing dishes by hand like me. That's what I was doing. Washing. Now I have to go mop the floor too. I'll have to do that tomorrow. I'll have to go do that tomorrow. Mop that big kitchen of mine. Yeah, I know. It's just awful. No prom, no graduation. It's horrible. It really, really is a horrible thing. But like I was telling my niece who it's graduating, but it was canceled from the top universities here in Texas. And then she was going to Honduras for an apprenticeship and canceled. But like I said in her little post that her mother posted, actually, she didn't. That it's so sad that was canceled, but it does not dim the light of her accomplishments. She's still going to have that degree on her wall. She's still going to have that wonderful feeling that you get when you accomplish something. It's fabulous to be able to have the parties and all the pomp and circumstance and I don't want to get cliche, but the pomp and circumstance is a big deal, but it's not you. That's something that you still earned. Your graduation from high school, it's something you still earned. It's still a wonderful accomplishment. And you can still celebrate it. You can still celebrate it with her at home and let her know that she's got every right to be very, very proud of herself. And the parties can come soon, for sure. And they will. They will. We will have celebrations again. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. It's been a few minutes here. I do want to go take that walk and not just talk about it. Like I told you guys before when I was starting my workout, I like to tell you that I'm going to go work out because then I feel like I'm lying if I don't do it. So if I say it, I got to do it. So I'm definitely going to go take my little walk. I actually wore my dog out. I told my daughter, I think I told you guys the other day. I told my daughter, I thought you took the dog for long walks when you go, because she sometimes skates with him and everything. I said, but he wanted to turn back home already. I had only gone like 1 block and he was already tired and wanted to turn this way. I really wore him out. I need to get him back in shape like me. I need to get back in shape, and so does he. So I think that's what we're going to do. And it's only, 10 o'clock here? Going on 9? Yeah, it's 9. So I'm going to do that. I'll talk to you guys soon. I will bring you jewelry and good times tomorrow or the day after as well. I have a wonderful unboxing to do from some rings that I got from a wonderful subscriber, and I can't wait to show them to you. They are so beautiful. I've never seen such beautiful things. So I'll bring that to you too, and we will do collection videos and all that good stuff. And I look forward to yours as well, Makeup Zombie, all those people out there that do great content. Be sure and watch them as well, okay? Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful night. Be blessed, be safe, and healthy. We'll get through this. Bye-bye.